What's up, everybody? It's Tyler with Hook Sets Are Free. Hope you guys are having a great night or day or whenever it is that you're watching this video. I see a handful of people already in here because I am late. I got to apologize for that. As I was coming down here, I dropped my empty glass that I was going to drink whiskey out of, and it shattered everywhere all over the main floor of my house. So, of course, at 9 p.m., over an hour after I put my kids to bed, here I am vacuuming up glass. And so that was brutal. Hopefully, my kids don't come downstairs during the live, but we're back. You say I'm echoing. Okay. Well, I wonder. Tell me if this helps a little bit. I just turned down my volume on. So let me know if this sounds any better. Matt, I apologize for any echo. This is the first time that I have live streamed on my MacBook because my PC is just moving slowly right now and wasn't getting up to speed. And I guess it doesn't really matter when streaming on StreamYard because you can only get 720p regardless unless you've got the paid version. So anyway, guys, I'm drinking a little Evan Williams bottled in bond. I've talked about this bourbon a number of times, but cheers. I should have just been using this glass from the get-go because this thing would not have broken. But that was pretty brutal. So let me catch up on these comments because I am 10 minutes late. Brendan in the house. Tom in the house. Matt, what's up? What's up? Frank, yo. Dax, yo. How you guys doing tonight? Good to see everybody in here. Pretty sweet. So, Brendan, I wasn't meaning to be, so I do apologize for showing up late. Hope everybody's doing well. I do have a very exciting unboxing. You guys saw from the thumbnail of this video that I couldn't help myself after our group chat on Instagram this week. Matt mentioned a bait that I had seen, but it didn't really think much of it until Matt brought it up in our group chat on Instagram. And here's the deal is it is in here. This is the Spring 2023 Master Catalog for Bass Pro, which a lot of people look forward to every single year. I hadn't signed up to receive this until like last year or the year before. So when I did get it in the mail this year, my wife thought it was hilarious that I was just nerding out over this and spent probably an hour or more straight just pouring over it right after I got it. So I've had this in my hands for a little over a week now. And one of the baits in here is what I went out of my way to purchase online and then actually did get one in person as well. So let me catch up on these comments before we actually get into this. But Jermaine in the house, what's up? All right. Man, you guys, I love how active you guys are in the chat. Ralph, yo. Wow, you guys are biased. I appreciate that, man. 12 waiting and 13 likes. That's pretty amazing. Thank you guys very much. If you guys are one of the 16 people in here right now, we're 4 minutes in. Do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button. We're going to look at a really cool bait tonight, as well as a few others just while I was at it shopping on Cabela's online, which I don't do very frequently. But when they do have baits that they carry online and not in my stores locally, I will go out of my way to purchase some stuff online and either have it shipped to the store for free if it's just an item or two, or if it's over $50, I'll just ship it to my house for free, which I did in this instance. So Carl Ferg in the house. How you doing tonight, Carl? All right, I'm kind of scrolling through your guys' chats real quick. We're trying to. Adam Odin, what's up? What's up, dude? I'm just flying by you guys, okay? Am I really, Matt? Sorry. I know I'm that far behind. No echo, no echo, no echo. So, Matt, I don't know if you need to reload or what, but I think we should be okay on sound at this point. Guggen Slayer, what's up, dude? How you doing? Yeah, Brendan, we're gonna talk about that in a minute. All right. So I don't have all of the details about this bait, but I am going to collect them and post a separate video unboxing and kind of reviewing this bait separately. But tonight you're gonna get my initial impressions, and you'll get to see for yourself what the bait looks like, aside from in that future video that is going to be uploaded. Okay. Guggen Slayer. Well, that's kind of what we're talking about in tonight's video. So sweet. Where'd you get that, man? I mean, mine's not a project swim bait, but that's cool. Nice, Adam. Got his BFS set up. Love it. Okay, guys, let's get into this. So, I'm going to just show you the bait that's in the thumbnail right now since you already saw it. But this is a brand new swim bait by Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. So you'll see that it's the Bass Pro Shops XPS Swerve. Okay. So it's the XPS Swerve. And here she is. This is a 7-inch glide bait that let's see if it says anywhere other than on the back. Here you can just see that it's 7 inches overall. It doesn't quite say, but I believe this is right at 3 ounces. Okay. I wouldn't care so much about that other than the fact that the spare tail is included and that this bait retails at $17.99. Okay. So let me see if I can pull this up real quick, if I can find it within a minute or two. Here she is. Wow, I found that in like 10 seconds. So that is the BPS Swerve glide bait. Okay. $17.99 is the retail price. A lot of people were concerned, as I would have been as well, about inventory and about availability, right? Not a lot has come out about this bait until now, and guess what? It's available. So I purchased this. I immediately, after Matt mentioned them, I knew that it would be a while till my local shops got them in store. So I went online, saw them in stock, and purchased a couple just based on the colors that I liked. And then I happened to be in Cabela's yesterday, and they had this one in stock, specifically in the rainbow trout color patterns. So I'm excited about it. I thought I would at least check it out to see what it's about. Even though I had 2 in the mail already, I had to pick up a third one because this is a color that I did not order online. So this right here is the Swerve glide bait. As you can see, it's got a pretty tall profile. Almost about appropriate for a traditional rainbow trout. Pretty tall, pretty fat bait, but relative to how tall it is not super long, and this is a 7-inch glide bait with the tail. It does not feel like it. Now, I would say that it does feel like 3 ounces, but a few things are super impressive to me about this. It's narrower than it looks, first of all, so the profile is great for being such a tall bait, and round, which isn't necessarily my preference, but I do think adds to the originality of this bait. There are definitely profiles out there like this, but I like this design, and I know that they consulted with a garage maker. I'm not sure exactly who, but this is a pretty sweet bait. Now check out the joint on this bait. It has a pretty significant cut on there. Now, it doesn't have any bumpers in here, so it is going to make a little bit of noise. But that is a pretty significant amount of tail action, especially out of a budget glide bait. So, you know, even just looking at it and seeing how it's made and seeing the price, I was willing to give it a go. So, of course, this bait doesn't have swiveling hook hangers or anything like that. It does have relatively heavy duty split rings and decent hardware out of the pack, although those are things that I will upgrade immediately. So I'll go to either Owner Hyperwire split rings or the Spro Power split rings. My dog is falling down the stairs. I hope she's okay. Nayla. And then these are about a size 1 or 1/0 hook on here. And I'll probably upgrade these as well, even though they feel fine. You know, they're Bass Pro hooks, I'm sure. So going to upgrade the hardware. This does come with a pretty decent tail on here. And it comes with a spare in the pack as well. So for $17.99, I mean, I'll try almost anything for $17.99 if it's in this category. But I will say immediately that this defies my my preconceived notions, my perceptions of Bass Pro XPS as a brand. Okay, so this is a good step in the right direction because, in my opinion, and I don't think it's really just my opinion, I think most people would agree, but up until now, the Bass Pro Shops brand of baits, the XPS line, has been pretty unoriginal. It's been a very copycat type of brand. And, you know, straight up, the last version, the Glidebait that they put out, was a carbon copy of the River to Sea S Waver. And that's disappointing. It doesn't have the same action, but it's cheaper. You can see exactly what they were doing there. However, this guy right here is original. So pretty excited about that. I will use a snap on the front, and then I'll upgrade the hardware in the way of the split rings and hooks. But shorter shank hook, maybe. Yeah, maybe. We will see about that. Although this bait does ride high in the water column. So I'm going to show you a little swim video of this. I said it's 3.1 ounces or something like that. And it is a slow sink. So if I can pull up this video on Facebook on Swimbait Underground, I'm going to show you real quick. Okay, so hang tight, see if I can share my screen with you. Pull this up. No, I don't want to record this screen. Oh, come on, man. I think I found it. Sorry about that. I'm fiddling around. Here we are. All right, so this is the post right here. The dude that's in charge of product development, or he's the lure buyer for Bass Pro and Cabela's. And so he posted on Swimbait Universe about this and said it had been in the works for 12 months. And so in the comments, he did post a swim video. Someone else posted about it in the last day or two. Here it is. Let's see if we can open this up. So watch as he speeds it up there. You'll see it has a pretty big profile in the water. And a medium wide glide, which I definitely like. And It swims well on a fast retrieve. Looks pretty stable. Now, it's possible that that dude working the bait is really in tune with the bait at this point, but that looks pretty user-friendly. And for a budget-friendly bait, I got to say, I'm impressed. So I decided that I needed to give it a whirl. And so I picked a couple up. Sorry, did I just have that comment up the entire time? Was that blocking the video? I apologize. Oh, those bullshad glides do look so good, man. I definitely want to get one at some point, as well as the Scottsboro Tackle MM26 glide. Looks pretty sweet. So I know that not a lot of you guys are my age, but are you familiar with this brand or with this band? I found this shirt in my closet tonight after taking a shower, and obviously it doesn't fit me. This is from when I was about 14 years old and used to go to concerts like it was my job. But yeah, I used to love Sugar Cult. Not sure if you guys remember the band or not, but we are 16 minutes in. I showed you guys the swerve in the rainbow trout pattern, okay? In Matt's opinion, and this is called Hatchery Hero, this color. But Matt thought this reminded him of the LaGrady Lures Donut. A little bit in profile, but also in the color pattern here, this rainbow trout being very green and very pink, although it has kind of a nice natural look to it. So I agreed with that. And I'll admit, looking online, the color pattern was not one of my favorites. So I didn't get it. But once I saw it in store, I decided to get it. So let's open this box. We'll plow through the unboxing. And then I've got a few more jigs to show you guys. And then we can just open this wide up. So let me know if you guys have ever shopped online at Bass Pro or Cabela's. And if you have, do you ever order it straight to the store? I've done that a few times. And I find that if it's for a purchase under $50, it's a pretty sweet way to do things if you've got a shop within the area for you. So oh, has Michael got to get out of here? Ooh. Oh, no problem, Michael. If you're still in here somehow, have a great rest of your night. Sleep well, man. All right, here we are. Let's show you the other two colors first. Let's go bluegill. So this was the first one that jumped out to me because of the profile of this bait. I think that a bluegill is probably the most realistic thing. Although now that I've held the bait and seen the bait, I think this taller profile imitates a trout, a bluegill, and a gizzard shad all really well. So you see this tail on here is jet black, which is pretty cool. You know, might play around with you know, painting this a little bit, sprucing it up, or putting a different color tail on there, but pretty cool here and very clean color patterns. I gotta say, Bass Pro impressed me on this one. So the clear coat is you know, is okay. I'll say that. Like, it could be a little bit better. But for $18, I'm definitely not going to complain about this at all. You see that there's a scale pattern painted on here and really just clean, great colors. Pretty realistic. I like how dark of a bluegill pattern this is. So excited to have that color. And while I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and weigh this for you. .93 grams. 3.2 ounces with the hooks on it. So 3.2 ounces, hooks on. Pretty reasonable. I'm putting these back in the package like that's what I do, even though you guys know that I don't. These will go into a box of swim baits pretty immediately, but I've now got too many swim baits that I definitely need a second box, if not a different way to store a lot of these baits. So kind of lost at the moment, but that's color number 2. They call it Bream Weaver. Bream Weaver. You can see these baits are made in Taiwan. So no surprise that they're not made in the US, but it is what it is for an $18 bait. Mike says put some orange or yellow stripes on the tail. That's exactly what I was thinking, dude. Whoa, dang, dude. Clear high gloss acrylic spray from Wally World. 10 coats on. I'll get a better clear coat. Really? High gloss acrylic spray. I've never considered doing that, but I might just do that now. I don't know. Guys, is my light like darker than normal? I'm not necessarily complaining about it, but to me, it definitely looks darker than normal. Brendan says, if those swim baits need a new home, let me know. I might give one away at some point. Okay, so keep your eyes open for that. I'm sure that you'll know if and when that happens. But third and final color is Clearwater Shad. Okay. And I'm excited about this color because this is the one translucent color of the bunch that they have. And I want to say they make like five or six colors. This one also has a black tail. However, this black tail is translucent. So not sure how well you can see that, but this is more of like a smoke colored tail. And check this out. You can see the internals of the bait here. We've got some interesting air cavities. I'm not sure if you can see, but they're coming down at an angle like this. Okay. So can you see that there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus the head? So head, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm not sure if these, it looks like they're walls inside the bait. So not sure how well you can see that, but each one of these sections, sure, some of them might be reinforcement for like the split rings and stuff like that, or for the hook hangers, but you can see that there's dividers in the back of the bait. One here, the joints in the middle of the body here and here. So interesting. You can see that there's all these balls of weight down in the bottom, but all of these are fixed and there's just a very subtle rattle sound. So not one that would be significant. So there'll definitely be a little bit of a clack there. I love this transparent. This is like a ghost shad type of color. I think it's going to be awesome in clear water when imitating a gizzard shad. I think it could also do a fine job at imitating a rainbow trout even still. So this was the one that I was drawn to the most, followed by the bluegill. And I'm excited to have them. I will say the rainbow trout is probably my least favorite of the three patterns, but they're all great. And the paint is surprisingly high quality. So got a white belly on there, black top. pretty clean looking overall. I love that big eye on there. Got the gill plates painted. So not too shabby. Adam says ton of weight. Well, I'm sure that was considered in the development process of the bait. So is it a ton of weight for me or for the bait? I don't know. We'll have to see once it's wet. But based on the swim, I will say doesn't look like too much weight. You say a ton of weight, but whatever that means. Seems appropriate in my opinion, but sure, it's a heavy bait. Okay. In here, I've only got a handful of other things, a couple packs of soft plastics, and I think that's it. So, big box for not a big package, but let me show you what I got in here. 5 packs of soft plastics. First up is a bait you guys have all probably heard of. I'm curious to know if anybody has tried this bait yet. So Brendan, it's a slow sink rate. I'm not sure exactly how slow, but it sounds like it's somewhere between super slow and slow, which is good, you know. So I don't know if it's going to sink a foot per 2 seconds or, you know, what. But regardless, probably a little bit slower than that. We will see, though. I'll keep you posted as and when I can try it. I might even just put it in a sink with you know, temperature controlled water and see what the sink rate is like. But this is the Yum forward facing sonar minnow, which is just silly because I don't have forward facing sonar. Who cares? I think it's annoying that a lot of baits these days and jig heads coming out are catering to the angler that is using forward facing sonar, specifically with a jig or jig head that will show up really well on forward facing sonar. So this is a drop shot bait, just a very basic minnow profile, and I quite like it. This is a fluke. You know, it's got a fork tail that is straight, right? So it's not in line with the body, but rather perpendicular. So perhaps a little bit better on a drop shot or on a rig where this thing is just going to swim straight through the water column, as opposed to on a chatterbait or twitching around like a fluke as much. But really great profile, and I am immediately impressed with the quality of the plastic and the color scheme here. This is just a straight Tennessee shad. So classic color pattern where you get that brown back, little bit of gold, and then a clear silvery belly. Awesome color pattern there. That is even better than I thought it was going to be, and I knew it was going to be great. By the way, this is a 3... Goodness gracious. I don't know. Can you guys tell me? It's like 3.5 inches, I want to say. Maybe 3.25. I'm going to open the other color too, just because I will say the colors on these baits look fantastic. There's a bunch of really good colors. This one is IU. So that one was Tennessee shad, and this one is IU. So you see this one has a much more natural greenish gold back with a greenish pearl belly. So a lot better for a wider variety of water conditions. This is probably an awesome baby bass imitator. So post spawn, that could be an absolute killer. But I think just as an overall color on a drop shot, that IU is going to be money. So these are cheap baits, and they're like 12 to a pack, 10 to a pack for like $3 or $3.50 a pack. So I'm going to give it a shot. Small bait, drop shot bait, just adding it into the arsenal. It's new in the last year. or year and a half, and I haven't tried it. So couldn't help it. You know, what can you do? Caro, I like that little minnow too. That's the first time that I've seen the bait or held it in person. So I like it for sure. Next up is a bait that I talk about somewhat frequently, actually pretty frequently. And this is the Strike King Baby Z2. Now, in stores, you can find this bait in like 4 or 5 different colors pretty regularly. But this is a color that I didn't know that they made in this bait. It might be new that they're pouring these baits in the siren color, but the siren color is a straight up chartreuse. And now this bait is a little bit warped straight out of the pack. Might need to be massaged a little bit, but just so you know what the deal is with the Baby Z2, this is an Elastec bait poured by Z-Man for Strike King, okay? And this bait is the smaller size. They do make a full-size fluke. This is the Baby Z2, which is a 3.75-inch bait, okay? And I find that on a drop shot and on the back of a micro chatterbait or mini chatterbait, that this is one of the most killer baits out there. For the last 2 years on a drop shot, this has been my #1 producer, as well as on the Z-Man flashback mini chatterbait and a few different rigs. So very underrated little fluke style bait in the Strike King Baby Z2. And I feel like as a drop shot bait, a bed fishing bait, this siren color is one that I at least want to have in my arsenal for where I'm fishing for smallies, because I have so much confidence in this bait right here that when I saw a new color, or at least one that I had never seen them make that bait in, I decided I kind of needed it. Riley in the house. What's up, Riley? How you doing? Yeah, I don't know. I didn't have a ton of confidence in chartreuse baits for a while, and I still prefer something that's chartreuse and something else, whether it's chartreuse in purple or chartreuse in black, even chartreuse in white. But I agree that chartreuse is underrated. Can't go wrong with it. Brendan, they do not make an 8-inch one that you can drop shot, but Z-Man does, and you know that, dude. We've talked about that a few times. Oh, I don't know where my fluke style baits are, but yeah, that's exactly what they do make, dude. So this is the 7-inch diesel minnows. I'll find you that 8-inch fluke. Shoop. Found her. Streaks XL hot chartreuse 8-inch. Dude, this is it. Bum, ba, da, bum. Brendan. Let me remove your comment so that you can see this. I have to hold that back pretty far. I mean, it's insane. The tails on this thing are thick. The body on this thing is thick. This thing can take a 12-aught hook, probably. So yeah, I have a couple packs of them. I almost got nailed by a smallie on this exact bait last year. Had a follower chasing it, even ate it, but I couldn't set the hook on him. I was just a little bit too slow, but exciting nonetheless. Cut a joint in that baby, says Brennan. Interesting. Never would have thought to do that. But all right, we got one other bait. This is new for me. Technically a new bait on the market, but not really, And this right here is the Missile Baits Spunk Shad. It's not the Missile Bait Spunk Shad, but technically it's being packaged as such now. So there was a recent partnership between Hog Farmer Bait Company and a bunch of other brands. If you'll notice, Hog Farmer has gone from being a bait maker to being a retailer as well. So they're now selling a bunch of other brands on their website that they've partnered with, and they've gone out of their way to partner with Missile on the Spunk Shad. So they're now allowing Missile Baits to pour and sell the Spunk Shad in both the 4.5 and the 5-inch or 5.5-inch size. In my opinion, the 4.5 is going to be the most appropriate to throw on the back of a jackhammer chatterbait. The 5.5 really creates a very large profile, and I almost always trim down my skirts straight out of the pack. So I will rig one of these up for you in a minute, but let me just show you this bait. My assumption is they agreed to purchase the mold, share the mold, and yeah, this is the same bait. You can tell it's that slightly flat back and that rounded belly, just like a Kaitak, but then it's got that straight tail, okay? And technically it is split on the bottom. Can you see there's two? And there's also this little nub. So ton of action that comes out of this little guy. This color right here is wicked. Frosted purple. This is an awesome clear watercolor, clear water shad type of pattern. This would be awesome on a scrounger and awesome on a chatterbait. So I'm a sucker for the color and decided to buy it as much for that. And I didn't even check to see if they've got the Missile Baits scent on them, but let's check. This is the other color that I got. This is called Green Pumpkin Delight. Okay, so this color is made to match up with the Bee Height Delight color, which you guys know is like my favorite color, has been my favorite color jackhammer for a number of years. So check out this color. We got more of a silvery belly. That chartreuse bleeds through the side and down up through the top and into the belly of some. I mean, just really cool. Green pumpkin back. And then you get that chartreuse flash through it. So I'm going to go ahead and rig this one up on a Bee Height Delight jackhammer for you. If I can find one that's close by. All right, so here's a freshie, because I have another one that's sitting here, but the skirt has fallen off and I've retied it on. So I will go ahead and take this off and rig it for you for the first time. This will probably stay rigged like this until the spring, because as you guys know, the jackhammer has an absolutely insane bait keeper on here. This double wire bait keeper does not allow for any forgiveness when rigging trailers that are not made of Elastec. So, Riley, you absolutely can throw it as a trailer on a swim jig. In fact, it would be awesome on a swim jig, but any bladed jig, especially if you're using something like the Willow Vibe or if you're using a scrounger head. But yes, a swim jig is a great thought, especially if you want a little bit more subtle of an action. So yes, you most certainly can, especially if you're going to impart a lot of the action on the bait. Oh, that's so true, Matt. If RoboWorm poured the spunk shad, that would be crazy. So let's go ahead and rig this puppy up, see how she looks rigged. We're going to come out about third to last. Okay. About third to last. Just going to, now this is the point of no return, right? Is where you push right over here and you better be certain as that gets pushed up over there. That's your last effort. Okay. Got her on there straight. And this is what she looks like rigged. And this is before the skirt is trimmed or anything. So take a look at how well that color of the bait just continues the coloring of the skirt here. I mean, that exceeds my expectations of how the skirt in that chartreuse and shad blend matches so well here. Honestly, I didn't think it could be done much better than say what you get with this guy right here. Okay. Yeah, green pumpkin chartreuse Yamamoto Seiko. I always thought this was like, the ideal pairing, and I immediately changed my mind. Wow. This guy is definitely going to be a go-to trailer for me this year. Gotta say it. Adam My Harris says, and with that, the 23 season comes to an end. Good night to you as well, Adam. Thank you for stopping by. That is the end of this unboxing. So yeah, I don't blame you if you want to head out of here. No problem. I do have some jigs and such that I want to show you guys, but I'm going to get out of here in a little while. This isn't going to be a particularly long live stream tonight, but thank you for stopping by. Hope you have a great rest of your night, man. That's a great question. RoboWorm, I don't think they do, man. It's like all of their baits are flat bottom, aren't they? I totally agree, Riley. I mean, I immediately am going to set it aside and just have a little photo session with this puppy. I mean, I'll say the 4.5-inch size. I was curious. I initially had the 5-inch or the 5.5-inch size in my cart. But having this thing rigged up now, I already know that this is the right size. 5.5 would be way too long, too much profile. And I usually like to trim these skirts down, like I said, about halfway to where the shank of the hook is. So about 1/4 of an inch off of the skirt. And to me, a 4 to 4.5-inch trailer is the most appropriate. 5 or 5.5 is too long, too bulky, in my opinion. So I am really excited, and I agree that it's kind of a goat combo, Riley. Dude, Adam, I'm so sorry to hear about that, man. Don't leave then, man. If you're feeling sad and isolated, uh, hang out for a little bit. Dude, I'm so sorry you're not feeling well, physically and emotionally. Riley, thank you so much for asking. The family's doing well. Um, my daughters are in first grade and pre-K. My son is almost 2. And yeah, there's a lot that's changing regularly, but life is good and fun. And I couldn't ask for a lot more. So yeah, Brendan asked earlier during his live stream on Instagram if I've been skiing recently. He said ice skiing, which to me is just sounds funny because, you know, quite frankly, it is it's snow skiing, not ice skiing, but whatever, doesn't make a difference. I ought to show you guys a video sometime soon of just kind of what it entails, both at Vail where I go skiing, on a normal basis, which is like resort skiing, riding a chairlift, versus some of the stuff that I've done in Canada doing heli skiing, um, more backcountry type of stuff. But yeah, you have no idea. Man, I wish you did, man. Adam, you hang on. You hang on for as long as you want or need, man. We're all here for you, man. You know, I appreciate everybody in here and the good vibes, Thank you guys for looking out for each other. Oh, Tom says RoboWorm used to pour an 8-inch ribbon tail worm with a round body. I could see that. I wish they just had a standard round bait that was like a Nico rig. I guess technically, no. Dude, they've got to have one, do they not? You have the chills and stuffiness. Wife has shut you in the bedroom. I hear you. But I mean, I guess it is late too, right? Is it midnight your time, dude? Maybe you do need to get off and get some rest, man. Oh, dude, I hear you. Glad to hear that you calmed down a bit, though. And I hope that you just, have that you trust the process and that you're going to get through it and be fine. Um, the fact that you're doing okay now, and are really just dealing with um, standard physical side effects, but some serious mental side effects. I think that's pretty normal, man. So um, I'm with Tom and saying I hope it passes quickly for you. Yeah, Frank's vibes are good, dude. Frank brings great vibes. Let's be honest. Ooh. All right. So let me show you some of the jigs that I've got. I don't even remember where I put that bag. All right. Ow. So I have a couple more hard baits. I did stop by Wally World to pick up 2 more colors of the Euro Tackle Z Spender because after just opening the bait, having it, seeing it, and playing around with it, not even seeing the action of it in the water, but seeing the bill, the construction and the angle, as well as the profile of the bait and these paint jobs, as well as the rattle. You get a little bit of a dual pitch. You get 2 different types of BBs in this bait, and I liked the first 2 colors that I got, so I decided to get 2 more. This one is their perch color, which is a little bit more of a true gold. I told you that this reminds me of like a mega bass style perch pattern. A lot of flash in the gold on there, and then just a classic chartreuse purple color. Got a lot of iridescence in the colors on the back that might not show up on this camera for you, especially in low definition. But great color patterns here. This is a bait that I'm going to take seriously this season in trying alongside and perhaps in lieu of the Dynamic Lures HD Trout, which I've talked about for forever and will continue to talk about because I like it so much, you know. Adam, we hope it breaks too soon. Hope it breaks soon too. Euro Tackle was at the show with EPF, Extreme Philly Fishing. Awesome, dude. Euro Tackle makes some good stuff, no doubt. So the other bait that I picked up from Walmart that had my attention last time I was there, but couldn't make a decision whether to get it or not. And I actually decided this time to pull the trigger on it, and in the smallest size possible. So check this out. This right here is the Berkeley Hit Stick. So I don't know if it says on the bottom of the bait. Let's see if we can get a close up for you. Hit Stick. What does it say? 3.5? Yeah. Hit Stick 3.5. So it's got that weighting on the bottom like you see with all of the hit sticks and the frit sides and a bunch of newer Berkeley baits. But this is a tiny little bait. No joke, this thing weighs a 1/16 of an ounce, so a little under 2 grams. And it's got one single treble hook on it. So to me, this is a panfish. This is a bluegill and crappie crankbait. Maybe BFS capable, but maybe even too light for that. I don't know. But one single treble hook. I got it in a perch pattern and then a silver pattern. Okay, so the perch pattern is pretty do everything. We've got a little bit of a gold back on there, yellow, white on the belly. This guy, white on the belly, red throat, silver foiled sides, and then a really cool sparkled shiny back. It's got a really high quality paint job for such a small bait. Gotta say, those grabbed my attention today. So I picked up 2 of them as well as 2 of the Z Spenders. But let me show you my jigs. If I can find that bag I just pulled those hard baits out of. Chicken fried steak is in the house. Yo, yo. Late as usual. You were definitely late, man. Yeah, we'll start right now just for you. How about that? Cheers, my man. Almost looks like we're opening a fresh bottle for you. Let's just say we are. Cheers. Good to see you in here. Happy Tuesday night, Monday night, whatever it is. What is it? Tuesday? Tuesday. Yeah, it's interesting, man. I didn't notice being stiff, but I think everybody experiences it differently, I'm sure. Ooh, Adam says the purple chartreuse Z Spender is great early season. Thank you, man. Yeah, once I saw it again, I kind of couldn't help it. So, yep. I also picked up another of the Money Badger recently, also in that same tiny size, but in like a red craw color. So it's upstairs tied on to my BFS setup right now. But again, here's that money badger in the 4 or 4.5 size in the 4. So you can see just how small this guy is as well. This weighs like 1/7 of an ounce. Little heavier than an 1/8 of an ounce. So I picked up one in like a red craw pattern that looks awesome. But I've got some more homemade jigs for you, and I'm going to start giving some of these away. You guys let me know what you think about these, and if you would fish these, if you would maybe even buy these. I don't know that I'm seriously considering making a bunch of these for sale, but I'm just curious to know your guys' opinion on these. So let's start with some more of the football jigs. I've got 2 of these, maybe 3, that I had showed you last time. So this time I've gone to a flat rubber. This is not pure marabou, so I've done a hybrid style jig where in the bottom is a little bit more finessey silicone, but with some marabou. Okay, so got marabou tied into the top there, and then we've got some very fine black rubber over this green pumpkin marabou. And this again is going to be more of a slow moving finesse football jig or a drop shot weight alternative for me. So went with black rubber and olive green marabou on the inside on that one. And then this one might be the same, just tied with a slightly different type of marabou. So it's got a little bit shorter hairs and puffs out just a little bit more. But there she is. And then tied one in with, I forget what kind of hair this is. This might be calf, like cow hair. And this hair is thick. So when it flares out, I'm going to put a trailer on this, but that hair pushes that rubber skirt out. So it really flares. And this is a thin jig. So definitely going to use a trailer on that one. And then I've got a couple that I've tied on the Z-Man weedless finesse shrooms jig. Okay, so you guys know that I like this jig head. This is a mushroom style jig head with a weed guard on it. Okay, and then I went ahead and tied a few things in here. So I've got a brown marabou, at the base. Before then, a brown living rubber. Again, this super thin rubber. This is on a green pumpkin head that's just a 1/10 ounce, so not even an eighth. So then when you rig a tiny little trailer like this Berkeley Little Trooper, then you get a little bit of a mix of action. You get that flare and a little bit of secondary action from the marabou in front of that trailer. And you get that longer skirt. I might cut that skirt just a little bit shorter, but with the rubber, I'm excited about that one. This one, I went a little bit crazier on the marabou and left the rubber long. So let's see. Whoo! Look at that thing just puff right out. We've got about double or triple the marabou on here that I put on the other ones, and longer strands, right? So then I left the rubber longer as well. And you get a little bit more moppy of a look, but still with that light weight. And so I'll put a little bit more full-size trailer on here. And even still, with all this marabou, I should not have a problem putting a trailer up on here. But I might opt to fish this with no trailer, depending on how the action is and how that bait flows in and out of the water. But Riley, no problem. Have a great rest of your night too. Tom, you're right, man. I mean, that's exactly why I'm buying some of this stuff, is because I've got a BFS setup now and want to push myself to use it this year. So that's why I'm picking up baits in this size range, is to move over to BFS instead of ultralight. It's like I put it in a box of just not practical or something that I wasn't quite interested in. But over time, that has shifted a little bit, and I've become more open-minded to using BFS in lieu of most things spinning rod related. I don't think it's going to replace spinning rods for me, but I am definitely curious to see where it is most appropriate for me. So here's the last homemade bait that, in my opinion, is perhaps the best. Adam, are you still in here? I thought Adam might think this is cool, but Adam says wait 5 minutes in between, or 5 seconds in between hops on a rubber jig. So check this out. I took the Z-Man Flashback Mini Chatterbait, which is a tiny little bait, right? I think it's the smallest chatterbait in the lineup. And this is the 1/8 ounce size. I prefer the 1/8. And I intentionally tied this thing so it would need no trailer. But underneath, we have got a lot going on. Okay, so first of all, on the tail section, we've got olive and black marabou trailing behind the hook. And then wrapped around the shank of the hook is brown marabou that then will layer over that olive and black. Okay. And then up at the top, we've got our rubber skirt that is brown. So, yeah, this is a bait that I'm pretty excited to see how it works in the water, just how compact it gets, and on the paws, how it breathes and acts in the water. This is a lot of marabou for what it is, right? This is like a size 1 hook. So if you can see, the hook is right there among all of this trailing. So this is intentionally a trailerless bait, but I'm curious to see how it acts in the water. Sharpie the head to match the skirt, says Adam. I do that. I dye a lot of these heads, but this one's gold, and I'm okay with that for now. I might color it. Brendan says there's a lot going on. Wow. Yeah, there is. Yeah, some of these I've gotten a little bit more intricate on than others, and been fiddling around. I ought to show you guys some of my flies that I tie. I think I showed you guys a couple once or twice, didn't I? Adam, you do need to get some flashback minis, dude. I don't know what to tell you, man. I've got them everywhere. I would say I'll send you some, but I'm horrible at that, and I need to send out packages to Caro and Matt, and I forget what his name is from before, but yeah, I mean, I like to fool around with the flashback mini. Here's that. This the Z-Man Streaks in the 3.75. It's the same as the Baby Z2 that I already talked about. So awesome on this bait right here. Profile wise, it's appropriate. Doesn't need to be trimmed down. I mean, technically speaking, you could get short strikes, but I find that I catch a ton of fish on this bait. So flashback mini, great bait, underrated. Yeah, Adam, you know, I am curious about that, right? Like I haven't quite gotten to the point, but I am going to consider this year in particular fiddling around with jackhammer chatterbaits and pulling old skirts off, like, you know, some of these skirts that are pretty well trashed, and a lot of which, if they're the old skirts, they are they're tied with thread. Look at that. This guy's coming loose. So the old jackhammers were tied with thread. The newer ones are tied with wire. So the old ones, I've had the skirts come off of a bunch, right? But the newer ones, for example, oh gosh, this is an old enough one that I just hadn't used. Let's see if we can find one that's a new one. So this one on top. Did I tie that one on? That almost looks too professional. All right. So here's a bee height delight. Yeah, it's unused, so there's no way that that skirt is retied back on there. But you can see here that this guy is wire tied, right? So the newer jackhammers are wire tied. The old ones are thread tied, which is and can be a problem. So keep that in mind. I don't really know why I brought that up, but I guess what I was saying is that on some of the older ones where the skirt has come off and I've either run it naked or retied the skirt or a new skirt on there, right? Like, yeah, this one is just about to fall off, and so I will retie a skirt on there. But while at it, I very well might tie a rubber skirt on there, and I'm curious about what the action of rubber is on a chatterbait and how it acts in the water. So stay tuned. I do not keep them in boxes. I did that for, I don't know, a year or two and had serious problems. They warp the plastic boxes like you would not believe. So you do got to leave them in the bags, which is why I have them here, 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 and I have them in a bunch of totes. You know, in things like this, I like to store my Z-Man plastics in the bags. You know, I've got the Z-Man bait binders and a bunch of other different storage methods, but yes. Cara says original bags, cast and chill, no doubt. Some of yours are zip tied. I don't know what you're talking about, Adam, but Adam doesn't like Z-Man, so don't believe what he has to say about what he does with Z-Man. He's not a fan of Elastec, and, you know, to each their own, right? Although I will say, Adam, I do recommend that you check out the Savage Gear and Molex phthalate free, super stretchy baits. Yeah, their stuff is super high quality, scented, and sure, you can't store it with other stuff. It's similar to Z-Man in that way, but I quite like it. Brendan, what are you talking about? Okay, Adam says, what's the difference between the flashback and the micro? The main differences are the size in the hook and the eyes being on the bait. So I want to say the size in the hook is one size up on the mini than it is on the flashback. And the mini has an eye and a skirt on the jig head, right? So I don't know where the nearest one is that I've got rigged. I'll show you the mini soon, but I don't know where I've got one close by. I'm sure I have one close by, but I just don't know where. So I'll show you soon. But the mini, or I should say the micro chatterbait has eyes on the jig head and has a skirt and a slightly larger hook. The flashback mini, on the other hand, is just bare bones. It's skirtless and it has a smaller blade and it has a slightly smaller hook with no bait keeper on it. Okay, so it is meant to be run naked and with a bare bones straight tail trailer. It comes with a, in my opinion, shitty trailer stock in the package. I don't like the trailer that comes in the package with the Z-Man flashback mini chatterbait. So I always change it out to a single tail grub or a straight tail fluke style bait like the Baby Z2. Something really small, even something like the Z-Man what is this bait? What is the nose of this bait? The I'm an idiot. I should know. Opportunity knocking. There you go. Adam has all the details. Chatterbait Micro has eyes. Yep. And a 2/0 thin wire hook. Yep. So slightly bigger hook than the size 1 on the flashback mini, and it has a skirt on it. Skirt, eyes, bigger hook. Brendan, let me talk you out of buying the Roman made mother. All right. It's been done before. Okay. Do you need to go through what Marling Baits did in seeing the bait and perhaps doing an autopsy on the bait to understand what it is and why it's so special? That video was made for a reason, right? Or maybe it wasn't even the mother. What was it? I just don't think you should buy that. I don't think you need to. Adam, I think the flashback mini is a size 1. It's possible that one of them is a size 2 and one of them is a size 1. But the point is, the micro chatterbait has a bigger hook, for sure. Matt says Roman made is overrated. I don't know what to tell you. Brendan says, obviously I need to cut it in half if I buy it. Well, don't do that then, man. Been there, done that, Nate already did that. So I don't really see why you should spend the money on that when there's a lot else that you're already doing, already into, already could be doing or getting into. That's probably more worth your time and money. So Do not buy the Roman made mother. All right. Take it easy. Yes, Brendan. He's not buying it. Caro, did you buy anything when you were at Bass Pro recently? I know that you texted the other day saying that you were there. I don't know if you were at the one in Springfield, or you said you were at the Pyramid. Did you end up buying anything? Brendan, this is one of those situations where you should take it upon yourself to live vicariously through Nate. All right? You don't need to do it. You don't need to spend the money to do that. It's more justifiable for him to do it because he was already making dirty money on his videos that he knew it was going to pay for itself by buying the bait, that he was really just doing it for the sake of it, and that it would hurt emotionally to cut into that bait to see what it's made of, but that it was for the sake of learning, and that it was pretty much free of charge for him to do that, right? If not making money on it because it's such a blasphemous thing to do. But you should not do that, all right? At less than 1,000 subscribers, it wouldn't even be worth it for you to do that. Although I suppose you could monetize that video once you hit 1,000 subscribers. But, dude, don't do it. Guys, we are an hour and 16 minutes in. What else should we talk about right now? We got a little bit of time, perhaps not a lot, but we're through the unboxing and everything like that. And I'm down to hang out for a few minutes longer. Oh, Caro just got some glue. What? You went to Bass Pro and all you got was some glue. That's hilarious. Adam says, I'll buy it, and then when I regret it, I'll send it to you. That's funny. Oh, Matt coming in with the strong feelings. Roman made their paint isn't worth a damn, ain't worth a damn, and the wood gets waterlogged super quick and cracks. Not worth it. Only one I heard that lasts a while is the Negotiator. A wabi? What is that? Some swim bait underground acronym. What is a wabi? Something like buy at your own risk. What is that, dude? Oh, Cara was looking at fly tying stuff. Nice. Yeah, UV glue. Okay, I hear you. Well, let me know if you have any questions about that kind of stuff, because I have a lot of it. Dude, what? It's getting teeth removed. What? Why are you telling us? And that sucks, dude. I feel bad for him. I have a lot of dental work that I need to do, but you guys, that's none of your business. Matt, thank you, dude. So I am literally in the midst of making a top 5 baits per category of baits that I want to make sure to try this year or use more of this year. Just kind of like top 5 baits in each category to prioritize. And so this will narrow down 50 baits for me to really focus on this year. By no means are they going to be the only baits that I do focus on, but I want to go out of my way to put more attention into certain baits than others, especially if I've gone out of my way to purchase them in hopes of trying them sooner than later. There, I got to remind myself to use the baits that I'm buying, right? So a wabi has a foil finish. I had no idea. I don't know anything. Sorry. No, Tom, I did not know that the Chatterbait Mini was made in Vietnam. Does that mean anything to you? I don't know that it means much to me, but I did not know that. All right. Okay. So it's not like you're blowing him up by any means, but he's got some unfortunate dental stuff going on, huh? A little bit like me, but probably not nearly as bad. I'm not getting surgery or anything. Cast and Chill. What's up, dude? If you could only pick one jig trailer for flipping, what would you choose? So if I'm flipping a jig or if I'm pitching a jig, what are we doing? How heavy is the cover? Because kind of depends. No, Ralph, I have not yet, but it's kind of on my radar. I've got the Dara Spin and the Dara Buzz is on my radar, but no. Ralph or Cast and Chill, where's your one jig trailer for flipping? Dude, I mean that's pretty broad. But let's just say we're talking about all-purpose stuff. I'm gonna go straight to this box that is bugs. I prefer a bug style bait as an all-around bait more than a cross style bait. Okay, so in my opinion, a bug is the most versatile. A beaver is best for flipping and punching and or more subtle situations, right? But a craw is best for a more aggressive warm water situation or more open water situation. So for me, and Brendan mentioned this, the Strike King Rage Bug is probably historically my number one bait when it comes to soft plastics, and I throw it in every color out there, and these are just some of the ones that I have, right? So you got, black and blue, you got Alabama craw, green pumpkin, peanut butter and jelly, and I throw it in a lot of different colors. Chameleon is kind of my go-to if I'm just throwing a Texas rig. I'll throw the chameleon color a lot, which for me, like when using the Guggenbait's Bandito bug, this natural color, which is like a green pumpkin blue mixed with a pearlish silver belly, is my go-to. But yeah, the Strike King Rage Bug is probably my number one do everything, but here are two that have stood the test of time and should not be overlooked, right? And I know a lot of people have talked about these for a number of times, but here's the Strike King Rage Menace Grub. It's in the blue craw color or blue swirl, blue craw swirl, whatever it is. But the Rage Menace is underrated because it's a perfectly round body with these medium kickers. Okay, you get a solid action that is right in between like a double tail grub and what you get out of a craw action. So it's not nearly as much action, not even as much action as you get out of a rage bug, let alone a rage craw. But because this bait is round as opposed to the rage bug being so flat, this bait makes a much better trailer on a bait that is to be swum. So on a swim jig, on a chatterbait, on a buzz bait, the Rage Menace is awesome. And then the Zoom Ultra Vibe Speed Craw is one that on the back of a swim jig is perhaps my favorite. On the back of a Texas rig or a wobble head, things like that can be absolutely killer as well. So, yeah, the Ultra Vibe Speed Craw is probably up there for me as well. But It's a pretty broad question, man. I don't quite know how to answer without having more information about the situation that you're asking specifically. So sorry, Cast and Chill. You said I try to simplify jig trailers, but haven't been able to do it. Yeah, I hear you. No, I'm the same way, but I guess it depends on the situation, right? Am I swimming the bait, or am I flipping, pitching, and working, hopping the bait, or slow dragging the bait? Because that all kind of matters, right? If I'm skipping the bait or dragging the bait, I want it to have that flat bottom. If I'm hopping the bait more aggressively, I might want it to have more of that flappy kicking action of a craw mixed with a bug. If I'm flipping and just punching through heavy cover, I want it to have the least amount of action possible, more like a beaver style trailer that's going to get through first and foremost and get down. It's a reaction bite. You're just dropping on their head, pulling out. So you want the least amount of resistance in the way of the claws that can get hung on their way down or way up. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of intricacies to what you're asking and saying, but tough to say. Adam says, for flipping, sweet beaver. Brendan says, rage bug. Right. So, we're all kind of saying the same thing. You know, if you're flipping, punching, a beaver is the deal, right? But if you're flipping and pitching around, targets or open water cover, maybe a rage bug is the deal. So it kind of depends on what you're doing. Carl loves bandito bugs. I do too, but not as much as I like rage bugs. So yeah. Oh, Adam says I heard bug, but then was immediately disappointed because it said bandito. Yeah, my bad. Dude, Brendan, I don't love Guggen. So, oh no, Carl. That's funny. Well, that's messed up, Carl. My fish will eat either one. I personally buy into the scent of both of those baits. I like them both a lot. So, yeah, dude, the scent is the deal. I don't know. Scent is great on both. Wow. Matt throws a paddle tail on a jig 90% of the time. What in the world, dude? I throw a paddle tail on a jig like 15% of the time. I mean, sure, if I'm throwing a swim jig and I definitely want it to imitate a bait fish, or I want it to move fast, or I want a bigger profile, then I'm going to throw a swim bait. But even on a swim jig, I'm not always throwing a paddle tail. On a chatterbait, I'm almost never throwing a paddle tail anymore. And on a standard jig that is not a swim jig, I'm rarely throwing a paddle tail. So that's so interesting to hear, man. Texas rigged super speed craw. Yep, that ultra vibe speed craw is the deal, dude. No doubt. Although I like the bug that Havoc had that I can't remember the name of. The craw fatty. I hope you're not talking about that bait. I did not like that bait. Oh no, the Havoc Pit Boss. The Pit Boss is the deal. I don't know that that's the one you're talking about, but the Berkeley Havoc Pit Boss I've got in this box of mini jig trailers. Ooh. The 3-inch Berkeley Pit Boss is something that nobody talks about, but on a finesse jig, yeah, I don't know, 3,600 size box, you can fit finesse jig trailers of all kinds. So you got Kitech, crazy flappers. And dude, I know this is not answering your question, Cast and Chill, because you're trying to narrow things down, but you know, the Kitech Crazy Flapper is a really good jig trailer. The Strike King Baby Rage Craw on a finesse jig is a good one. But same like I just mentioned, if you're going to swim a jig trailer, the Baby Rage Menace Grub is awesome. And then like Matt was saying, I will throw a paddle tail sometimes, you know, something like a 2.75 or a 3.3 inch swim bait on the back of a jig. But here is an underrated jig trailer, and this is the Zoom Tiny Brush Hog. Okay. I don't know what to say. They come 15 to a pack, and they're so good. The action is subtle. The bait is short. It makes up for all the things that you don't like about the standard Zoom Lizard in a smaller package, and it's awesome on a jig. I just don't know what to tell you other than try it. You will see it and think that it is so small in your hands, because compared to a, you know, a standard size lizard, or brush hog, should I say, it is tiny, right? I mean, look at how small this bait is, right? This is a brush hog the size of my pointer finger. It's tiny, but if you can thread it on right, I mean, it's nasty. Now, Cast and Chill, I don't want to send you on a rabbit hunt of sorts, but this guy right here is a bait that hasn't been in production for some time, but is an awesome jig trailer. This bait has hollow claws and a hollow body, but a super solid nose. That's the Bass Magic Fighting Craw. Matt, that's a good point. You've replaced the brush hogs with the Nori's Escape Twins. You're going to use the lizard more this year? Yeah, I would like to say that, but I don't know if I am. First, I need to commit to the Carolina rig before I can commit to a lizard. You know, and you might just say that you're going to commit to bed fishing, but there's so many different presentations that you can throw on a bed, whether you're throwing a big swim bait or a craw or a creature or a tiny little drop shot bait. So yeah, I would love to throw lizards more, but I don't think I'm going to, dude. What? Adam says brush hog is my chatterbait trailer. No way, dude. That's crazy. That's a long profile. Different, more subtle action. Why not just throw a single-tailed grub, dude? I'm a little bit curious about that. Kids are talking about that pit boss. Yep. Swimming, even a swim Senko. Yep. Yamamoto Swim Senko is definitely underrated. For a while was kind of a go-to chatterbait trailer for me. Oh, are these Rebel? I don't know. Speed worms. All right. Yeah, whatever. I don't know where they are right now, but that's fascinating to hear. Uh, no, it's not. I threw that out there for no reason. The swim Senko is a great bait. I'll say that on a spinner bait or on a chatter bait. I don't love the profile of it just rigged by itself, weedless or on a jig head, but it is a good bait. Just bought a bunch of 3-inch trailers. Yeah, you're right. A lot of the popular baits have a small version, especially these days. In the last couple of years, it's become pretty recognized industry wide that small baits get bit well too. One, if you're going to throw it on a finesse jig. Two, if you're going to throw it as a Ned rig. Three, if you're going to throw it as a drop shot bait. Right? I mean, one of the best examples is like, the Z-Man goat. Right? This bait that is pretty close copy of the Strike King Rage Tail Menace Grub that I just showed you a minute ago. Although this guy is a bit more narrow than it is tall, so it's not perfectly round like the Menace Grub, but same profile in terms of just being a double tail grub here. But they make it in a baby size. This is a little 3-inch version that's awesome on a Ned rig, a drop shot, a swim jig, finesse jig of any kind. Super versatile bait, that baby goat. So, yeah, I mean, I don't blame you, man, for wanting to sample around in the 3-inch size because not only have I done it, but I still do it. A lot of those baits don't get used frequently by me anymore, but tiny brush hog also works well on a drop shot. I don't doubt that. Don't doubt that at all. Tiny lizard with the arms and legs ripped off is a great drop shot bait. Interesting. Huh. Never would have thought about that. Adam, good thinking, dude. What? You kind of got my mind freaking out right now, dude. I don't have the. Oh, where in the. Don't do that to me now. Let's just grab a lizard instead of a brush hog, right? We're talking lizard, not brush hog. And let's take all of these appendages off. And see what we're working with here, just in kind of like a snake. No appendages. Oh, dude, I could see that working on a lot of different stuff. Even like you're saying, if we put that on the back of a jig or a spinner bait, I could see that being fantastic. What a great idea. Thank you, Adam. I had never really thought to make my worms or my lizards more versatile. I had really only thought about them as lizards, but what a great idea. Thank you, Adam. I appreciate you, dude. All right, Matt. Matt's right. Everybody in here, there's 18 of us. We all probably need to try the Berkeley, Japan Power Wigglers. Matt swears by them. All right. Adam says baby brush hog or speed craw for a swim jig. Speed craw for sure. I would throw a baby brush hog on a casting jig or on a Carolina rig or a Texas rig, but speed craw on a swim jig for sure, in my opinion. Maybe Adam Myhera would disagree, but he says baby brush hog. I trim right in front of the U's. Paddles stick out just beyond the skirt. Okay, so were you talking about the baby brush hog, or were you talking about The lizard, because we got the baby brush hog too. Let's just go ahead and do that as well. See what you were talking about there. You trim right in front of the U's. What are the U's? Okay. Just before the U's. Let's pull these out so they're U's. Literally, you trim like here. Huh. So, Adam, is this what you're saying? You take the paddles and you rip those off so that they're just barely like dangling here, like little skirt-like material. Do you take these arms off or no? I mean, I haven't made modifications to a brush hog quite like this, so I'm interested. The chattering action makes the paddles go wiggle wobble. What? Are we talking about a rap song or what are you talking about? Wiggle wiggle wiggle. Boop, 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 boop. Cut the head off of the brush hog above the U's. What? Are these U's? So cut it off here. Like that? Is this your new bait? No, this side of what? In front of the loops. I definitely messed that up, huh? Maybe I'll try it again. The way that brush hog paddles are oriented makes them wobble hard when rigged on a chatterbait. The paddles, I assume you're meaning these little danglers. Cut the head off the brush hog above the U's. What do you mean? All of this? Just leave the bottom? So are you just chopping the whole thing in half? Maybe I'm not following it all. Maybe it's late. Maybe I'm getting drunk. Maybe I need to get drunker. Adam, you can look on. Well, I don't have great advice. I haven't purchased a power wiggler, so I can't tell you. But everybody knows that Matt is a huge fan of the power wigglers from Berkeley, Japan. And I feel like we all should try them. They've got an interesting profile that is taller and a fat but short, compact profile. So, kind of the soft plastic version of what I talked about tonight in the new Swerve. So, pretty sweet. Guys, I think that's going to wrap it up. I think I'm going to dip out of here. First of all, I just got to say, Adam Myhera, thank you for hanging out in here tonight, dude. It's been what, an extra hour since you said you were leaving, and thank you for hanging out, man. It's good to see you in here, especially when you said that you were feeling a little bit down, not doing great. Thank you for hanging out a little bit longer. I'm sorry you're not feeling super well, but I wish you guys, you and your family, all the best, and I hope you guys recover quickly. So, Adam, I'm going to try and reread your comments about the brush hog because I still don't understand. Maybe I'll message you separately. Just ask you to send me a picture of how you like to use this bait, because the brush hog is one that I know has a lot of versatility, especially when rigged one way versus another, right? This way it droops a lot. This way it will actually stay up. This is technically the proper way to rig it, is the way that those paddles act, versus if they're down and they want to hang. So I definitely find it to be an interesting bait, but one that I've never really developed a tremendous amount of confidence in. So if you've got any input on it, the lizard and the brush hog, by all means, please do. So guys, chop the head off above the loops and tear the lower parts of the loops loose. The head off above the loops. That's what I did. Tear the lower parts of the loops loose. Let them hang. What do you mean? Just like that? Just a little subtle, just having legs on this puppy? I mean, I'm curious to know a little bit more. I mean, that's interesting. Those are definitely legs. But I don't think that's what you were saying to do. Guys, have a great rest of your night. Oh, bingo, I got it. Is that really it? Okay. Well, interesting. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out. Have a great rest of your night. Cheers. If you haven't already, hit the thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed. I'll see you in the next one. All right. Cheers.